Hi guys, still here, and I want to show you this card that I made using the Simon Says stamps, More Spring Flowers, and Happy. And I colored these in using the Spectrum Noir glitter pens, and those are made by Crafter's Companion. And here are the stamps. There's Happy. And then here's the More Spring Flowers. This one was made by Christina Warner. And here's some of the pens that I used. And here's the chart. You can download that from the Crafter's Companion site. And so some of my footage was lost. So here's me jumping right in, showing you how I made a mask with a light colored ink onto masking paper using my mini Misty. And then here's me after I cut the mask, adding that onto some embossed images. Now, here's the stamps, and I'm placing those over top of a masked image, and then I'm going to stamp those with Versamark watermark ink onto my Strathmore watercolor paper, and then I'm going to get coloring. And I'll tell you about everything as I start coloring, but right there I'm showing you the colors. So first off, I'm going to color up, I'm going to show you how to start a pen. Now, it comes with that little yellow piece, and you just take that off and then screw your pen onto itself. And then you press the tip, and that activates the flow of your pen. This is just the crystal pen, and I keep one for white, and then this one I'm going to use to color with. So anytime I'm using it with a color. Okay, so we're going to do the daisy. And so this is Moonlight, the color, this yellow. And I'm blending it with the crystal color to lighten it. Now I'm going into the blues. So this is Sea Breeze. And so I'm putting it all over the flower and then blending it out with the crystal. I'm going to come back into this with blue topaz and darken it up, but I'll show you that footage a little bit later. Now I'm actually lifting my paper. You can see the embossing. I masked off my images and that footage was corrupted, but you can see where I had the rose image, which was my main image. I put that, stamped and embossed that one first, put the mask over top of it, and then I did the next image of the daisy and each of what I think are the crocuses next, and then I did the leaves. Now the leaves I'm doing with sage and the crystal, and I am pulling that color out. Now I'm cleaning it off on my towel, and you can see how much shimmer is in that pen. It's crazy how much shimmer is in those, almost too much at times. And I'm sorry, I said that was the Sea Breeze blue. That's actually the Moonstone blue that I used on those blue flowers. A Sea Breeze is going to be the background color. Okay, so like I said, with that embossing, with the layering, when you are embossing or doing any masking, what you want in the front is actually the first thing you're going to stamp when you're doing masking. So that's why I did the rose first, and then put things towards myself as I did the masking, and I did the leaves last because they went in the absolute back. So see how I'm adding in that sage as I go? Okay, so now lastly I'm going to come in and do that rose. And the rose is with peony. And so I'm coming in with the peony into the darkest areas, and once again pulling it out with the crystal. And the crystal is obviously that clear color. And I'm using that on everyone. And I'm using that like a water brush so that the sparkle is everywhere. And see how intense that gets? It is gorgeous shimmer. And the photographs don't do it justice. I'm going to try to take another set of photographs tomorrow so you can see those during the day. I'll add those to my blog. But I have definitely sped this up because you don't need to watch me do this for ages. But you can see that even without speeding it up, this goes quickly. I made 3 cards and they went very fast because you just come through, you lay in some of the dark color, and then you come in with the crystal. You don't want to put too much color down ahead of time because it will sink into your paper. And I did this card on Strathmore, but at the end you'll see that there's another variation, the one with the sequins on it. I did that one on Kenson XL paper, and it does give you a little different look. So experiment with the different papers you have. I haven't tried it on Bristol because I've just started playing with these, even though I've had them for ages. But I do know I get a different look with these on Bristol. They sit on top of Bristol. I just haven't done florals on Bristol. I've done some of my cute little critters. So play with what you have, and you'll be amazed at how different the color comes out. I get a much brighter color on Bristol. So I really love how these pens have different variation to them. Okay, so now I'm coming in with Biscuit in the center of that flower. And I'm using my absorber to wipe some of the color off of the embossing with that white embossing. And I didn't mention the embossing is the white from Ranger, and that is a super fine detail so that you can see the stitching on the flowers. So now's where I came in with the background color, which is the Sea Breeze. And then I spread that out with the crystal. I realized later that the crystal was too much glimmer. And on the secondary card, I actually just spread it out with a water brush, and I was much happier with that result. And in the future, I will do it that way because this crystal pen puts out a ton of shimmer. You can see all that shimmer. So I come back later and you will see I spread it out with the water brush. But on my alternate card, I don't even use the crystal like where I'm using it at this stage. And you're going to see in a moment here that I'm also going to come back into my blue flowers as well as my daisy and intensify those colors because the background doesn't pull those colors out as much as I had hoped it would, and they still looked a little too light. When I first went into this card, I went into it thinking I was going to do a pastel card, and that is not where this card ended up. But that's fine because I love where this card ended up. And something I don't show you is that I do end up cutting these cards out with dies. This card that you see me doing on the Strathmore paper, I cut this one out with my tried and true Simon Says stamp stitched rectangles. The other card that I show you, I cut out with my, give me a second, it is the dots from Lawn Fawn, and it's the small one. And I'm sorry I don't know the exact name, but it's the one that puts the dots on the border of the rectangles. It's pierced. It's the pierced rectangles from Lawn Fawn. Sorry, that took me a moment. And okay, so here's where I'm darkening up the, I think they're crocus. And I used the blue topaz to come in. And so it's the blue topaz, the moonstone, and the crystal. And so I'm also going to intensify that daisy. And just give me a moment. And I've already cut my panel out at this point with the second largest of the Simon Says stamp die cut rectangles. Okay, so I'm coming into the center there, and I'm adding in the red, and this is solar red, and then the biscuit, and then I'm adding the biscuit to the outside, and then I'm going to add a little bit of that solar red in with the biscuit, and it's going to make this daisy more orange. And again, not where I'd first intended to go with this, but sometimes you just have to adapt, right? So see the tiniest bit of that solar red. Now, it says solar red on the cap, but it says red solar on the chart, so I'm not sure which it actually is. So, whichever, it's a red. So that's where my daisy ends up. So I'm always cleaning the tips of these off on that rag, and they clean right off. They're water soluble, which I really like. So here's where I'm coming back in with my sea breeze, and I'm coming in with a lot of it. Now I have stamped and embossed Happy Birthday from that Happy Set from Simon Says Stamp. I love that stamp set. It's like my workhorse of my stamp room. And I'm coming in with just water brush. This is my Tim Holtz one, the detail water brush, and I'm spreading everything out and lifting up some of the color as I go. And this is what's going to make that greeting stand out. And by lifting up some of the color, I'm lifting up some of that shimmer, but there's still a crazy amount of shimmer on there, as you can see. These pens have an intense amount of shimmer. And by lifting some of it up, it also means that the shimmer's not going to come up on anyone. So that is the finished card. I did attach it to 2 layers. And this is the pictures of the finished card. So I do hope that you like this video and give it a thumbs up and check out my blog posts. So thanks for stopping by and have a great day.